happy to be with you today to talk to you about the what and the why of building a digital learning blueprint. My name is Sam Herring. I'm the co-founder of Intrepid. We are a digital learning platform. The best way to think of us is we help organizations with their high-stakes business challenges. We help you create and deliver collaborative, cohort-driven learning experiences that are relevant to the learner, deeply engaging, and help them get real work done in the process. A little bit of background on me. I am past chairman of the board of directors of ATD, and previously built and ran a learning professional services business that we sold to Xerox in 2015. Over the last few years building our learning platform, we had the privilege of working with dozens of clients and partners from around the world, and we've had the opportunity to win about 50 awards recognizing our work with those clients and partners. But let's talk about the why of a digital learning blueprint. It's quite simple. Organizations are being massively disrupted today, and most of them are just not prepared for the disruption that's hitting them. So when we think about learning is both the solution to this challenge as well as the target. It's the solution in the sense that organizations are feeling the impact of accelerating change. In Thomas Friedman's book that he published a couple of years ago, Thank You for Being Late, he talked about the accelerating rate of change that organizations are going through, and that's putting people in a real pinch point. We're just not able to adapt as fast as technology is changing. So if you look at the graphic on the screen, you see that technology is outpacing human adaptability. The opportunity and the promise, and the reason our profession is so important, is that learning allows people to shift that curve and adapt faster and keep up with that pace of change. So that's the positive side. The challenging side for us who are learning professionals is that learning is also the target of disruption with all the changes in AI, mobile, social, collaborative technologies, big data, and so on. So it cuts both ways for us as learning professionals. We hear often the pain from learning professionals who are trying to make sense of this crazy dynamic learning technology market, trying to make sense of all this change, this accelerating change. And we thought, what could we do to help? We realized two simple things. One is we have some great clients and partners and fellow travelers who have developed plans and know how to put together complete strategies and to implement technologies to really tackle their biggest challenges. That's number one. Number two is we have a platform that we could take those stories, we could apply assignments, we could bring a large audience of people together to collaborate and share their perspectives and allow learning leaders to walk away, learn how to build a digital plan, digital learning blueprint, and then walk away with a plan that they've built themselves through the course. So we built a digital learning course that we offered back in June, had hundreds of people participate in that. And what I wanted to share with you today is some of the key insights and takeaways from that course and help you build your own digital learning blueprint. So there's 6 key domains to the digital learning blueprint. Think of it simply as the what and the how. The what starts with your business challenge, number one. Second, the business impact metrics. How are you going to measure the impact of your digital learning plan and your digital learning solutions? Third is the learning culture and your vision. On the how side, it's what technologies will you use for your digital learning plan? What digital learning processes do you need to create or change? And finally, what does your team look like? Are they ready to execute this digital learning plan? How do you need to develop them? What new skills might you need to hire? So it all starts with the business challenge. You need to start by identifying what is the big challenge that brought you here today to capture your interest in building a digital learning blueprint, and you need to document that. You'll have an opportunity to download all the materials so you can work through these exercises. But today I thought I'd just kind of lay out the key steps of the plan. So second is your business impact metrics. On the one hand, we could assume that for the purposes of brevity for this session today, that you've already thought about your baseline data, what performance you want to change in your workforce and your audience. But I'd also encourage you to really think about, with new digital learning solutions, what are the new metrics that you are going to have access to? What are the online behaviors that you can study and really make sense of to improve learning experiences? What do I mean by that? Well, if we think about how we have traditionally measured learning, we've thought about physical presence in the class, the proverbial butts in seats. Have people completed their e-learning screen by screen to the end? Have they created an action plan in a workshop? Have they passed a quiz? What's the delta between their pre and post tests? But now we have many, many more data points that are far more valuable and tell us how people are actually engaging in a digital environment. For example, how are they engaging with content and with their peers? Are they meeting completion criteria that you set out for your particular learning journey, with points and badges tied to the behaviors you're interested in, not just clicking through screens to the end? And the one that we feel extremely passionately about is, did they demonstrate evidence of job application during the experience? And were users able to generate content and connections and connect with other learners through the experience? The third aspect is learning culture and establishing a digital learning vision. And this is a big topic. Obviously, getting to a complete vision for what digital learning looks like in your organization is a big task. One of the places that we suggest starting is really with your learners, with your audience. Doing an audience assessment is a great place to start. Understanding what's worked with your audience in the past, maybe what has fallen down in terms of digital learning initiatives, and what they're asking for, and beginning to really hone in on what those learners are looking for, in addition to leadership support and so on. And like I mentioned, we have exercises that you can turn to in the materials that you can download from our website. So here's what we heard from the course. When we conducted this course with hundreds of learners, not surprisingly, what they were looking for, the learners who participated in our course, they really wanted to put the learner at the center. They wanted, and that showed up in a variety of ways. They said, we need to make learning available when it's needed to the learner in the right size. We need to make it more social and collaborative. We need to make it far more engaging. It needs to be deeply relevant to learners for on-the-job application. It needs to be continuous. Learning isn't done when we walk out of the classroom. It's never done. We're constantly learning. And we should trust the learners to really direct their own learning experience. All right, so that's the what. Let's talk about the how. When you're creating a technology ecosystem, clearly you're going to need to define detailed requirements for what you're looking for. But for our purposes today, let's just think about the big themes. What do you need from your technology to support the business challenge, support your vision, and support those metrics that you're looking for? What are those themes? What are those big categories that you're looking for? So from the course we ran, what we heard in the discussion forums and the assignments that people were turning in were these kinds of themes, probably not surprising to you. People are looking for learner-centric and easy to use. They're looking for a variety of micro-learning assets, podcasts, videocasts, short-form documents, short-form e-learning. They're looking for strong customer support. It's not just a product. They're looking for services that is going to be deeply supportive to the learners. And they're looking for ability to scale, among others. Processes. It's a reality that as you shift to more modern digital learning solutions, your processes are probably going to need to change as well. Some of them will work just fine that you have today, but you're probably going to need to create some new ones and adjust the ones you have. So let's think about a simple example of a blended digital learning journey. Imagine a high potential leadership development program where you've got nominations, you've got cohorts coming together for a kickoff, you have some self-paced learning before the cohort comes together in a synchronous environment, you have that immersive in-person experience, then you have deep integration back on the job, and finally it results in some kind of a certificate, badge, nanodegree, and so on. So this isn't super complicated, but there probably are things in here that you're not doing today. For example, how do you organize a digital cohort? What's the process for that? How do you write assignments in a digital environment? How do you write good discussion questions? How do you curate those questions? How do you moderate those social forums? How do you assign peer review assignments, and so on. So again, these may not be your particular processes, but it helps to map these out and see where your gaps might be. Another way of doing it is to look at the work streams involved in the production of a digital learning experience, from design to marketing a course, to course communications, to data, and just kind of brainstorm all the things that are required to do that, and just do a gut check on, do you have these processes in place, where do you need to build them, and so on. Finally is your digital learning team. And this is really about thinking about what skill sets your team brings to the table today, and what changes are necessary. What are the skills of the future? And then doing that gap analysis to figure out, where are we strong, where do we need to develop people, maybe where we need to hire. So one big shift is the mind shift from being instructional designers to learning experience designers. And what does that really mean? Instructional design, is traditionally been very objective driven, is focused on kind of bringing a knowledge to a learner, from a SME, maybe through the instructional designer. It can be very waterfall process driven. It's old school, right? So learning experience designers is more about designing that experiential journey for the learner. It is going to be more agile in its approach. We're talking about hackathons and short production cycles and iteration, not the old models that we've had in the past. Some of the new skill sets that we need are around information architecture, web and mobile design, the ability to curate resources, and using new tools that are designed for authoring both in the web and video. So that's a summary of the ideas around building your digital learning blueprint, both the why and the what. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today. And I do direct your attention to be able to download a full set of materials that will help you walk through and create your own digital learning blueprint. So I've given you the outline today, but this, if you download on this link, you can get access to all the specific tools to build your own digital learning blueprint. Thank you so much.